Yes, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our briefing. Let me begin by reiterating Pakistan's strongest condemnation and rejection of the nullified conviction and sentencing of Hurriyat leader Yasin Malik in a grossly suspicious and contrived case registered under the Draconian Unlawful Activities Prevention Act and Indian Penal Code dating back to 2017. The Indian Charge d'Affaires in Islamabad was called to the Foreign Office on 25th May and was conveyed the Government of Pakistan's strong indignation over the highly reprehensible sentencing of Mr. Yasin Malik after his conviction on fabricated charges, denial of fair trial, and inhuman incarceration despite his deteriorating health, which is in complete defiance of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Earlier in the week, in a strong statement, Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari condemned Indian court's fallacious conviction of Mr. Yasin Malik and demanded his urgent and immediate release. The Foreign Minister has also written letters to the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights and the OIC Secretary General, apprising them about the dire human rights and humanitarian situation in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. In particular, the Foreign Minister expressed grave concern over the sham conviction of Hurriyat leader Yasin Malik. India must harbor no delusions. Pakistan will continue to raise its voice to express its concerns and highlight the gross excesses that India continues to commit with unchecked impunity against the Kashmiri people and their political leadership in the IIOJK. The entire nation is united in support and solidarity with the Kashmiris, as also manifested by the unanimous resolutions passed by the joint session of the Parliament. We shall continue to agitate at all political, diplomatic, and other avenues in this regard. Ladies and gentlemen, coming over to the diplomatic engagements, during an active past week, Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari visited Davos to attend the World Economic Forum's annual meetings from 23rd to 26th of May. He was accompanied by MOS Hena Rabbani Khar. This year, the forum was organized under the theme History at a Turning Point, Government Policies and Business Strategies. Both the Foreign Minister and the Minister of State participated in several WEF events on contemporary global and regional issues. The ministers shared Pakistan's perspective on the economic and social impacts of the evolving geopolitical developments, as well as the challenges arising from the COVID-19 pandemic, food and energy security, and climate change. On the sidelines, the Foreign Minister, accompanied by the Federal Minister for Climate Change and Minister of State Hena Rabbani Khar, held several bilateral meetings, including with Her Majesty Queen Maxima of the Netherlands, the Foreign Minister of Finland, the Romanian Foreign Minister, the Secretary General of the Gulf Cooperation Council, the Saudi Foreign Minister, the Austrian Foreign Minister, and the Iranian Foreign Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, prior to Davos, at the special invitation of State Councillor and Foreign Minister Wang Yi, Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari visited China on 21st to 22nd May. This was his first bilateral visit abroad since assuming office last month. The Minister of State for Foreign Affairs and senior officials were part of the minister's delegation. You would have seen the joint statement adopted at the conclusion of the visit. The two ministers held extensive consultations and reviewed the entire gamut of bilateral relations with a particular focus on stronger trade and economic cooperation. fast-tracked progress on the transformational China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, the flagship project of President Xi Jinping's visionary Belt and Road Initiative, also featured prominently in the discussions. The visit coincided with the 71st anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Pakistan and China, wherein both countries reaffirmed their commitment to the Iron Brotherhood and the all-weather strategic cooperative partnership. During the week, the Foreign Secretary received several high-level delegations, including Germany's Special Representative for Afghanistan and the Minister for Armed Forces of the United Kingdom. On 20th May, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs also hosted a briefing on China-Pakistan Economic Corridor for the resident diplomatic missions of ASEAN member countries. Third rounds of policy planning dialogue as well as bilateral consultative forum between Pakistan and Indonesia were held in Bali during the week. Ladies and gentlemen, on 25th May, together with our African friends, Pakistan celebrated the Africa Day by organizing a virtual event in collaboration with ISSI. Over 500 guests from 35 African countries participated, with representation from the African Union Commission and the three regional economic communities, namely the East Africa Community, ECOWAS, and IGAD. In his opening address, Foreign Minister reiterated Pakistan's resolve to enhance outreach and cooperation with the African continent through the Engage Africa initiative, particularly in the economic and trade domains. Yesterday, 6 Pakistani peacekeepers were posthumously awarded the Dag Hammarskjöld Medal in a solemn ceremony at the UN headquarters in New York, marking the International Day of UN Peacekeepers. The government and people of Pakistan joined the international community in paying tribute to all peacekeepers from around the world who have made the ultimate sacrifice for safeguarding the ideals of international peace and security. I would also like to take this opportunity to convey the sincere gratitude on behalf of the government and people of Pakistan to the government of Iran for sending a special plane IL-76 to help put out fires ravaging the forests in Balochistan. The timely aid helped control the fires that had been raging for 2 weeks, helped save precious lives, and also averted further spread of the devastating fire. This gesture is a testimony to the strong bond of brotherhood and solidarity between our two countries. Coming over to IIOJK, we remain deeply concerned at the continuing repression and human rights violations by the Indian occupation forces. We strongly condemn the extrajudicial killing of 4 innocent Kashmiri youth in Srinagar and Pulwama today. Earlier during the week, 4 Kashmiris were martyred in so-called cordon and search operations in Baramulla and Kupwara. On 21st May, the government and people of Pakistan paid homage to Shaheed Mirwais Maulvi Muhammad Farooq and Shaheed Abdul Ghani Lone, who were martyred by Indian occupation forces on 21st May 1990 and 21st May 2002 respectively. Kashmiris on both sides of the LOC commemorated the significant contributions of the 2 iconic Kashmiri leaders to the struggle for self-determination. Let me state clearly, India's designs to silence the Kashmiris and their leadership through oppression, wanton use of force, and sham trials will never succeed. As the popular reaction in IIOJK on the sentencing of Yasin Malik proves, this will provide further momentum to their legitimate struggle for self-determination. Pakistan once again urges India to halt its state terrorism, immediately cease human rights violations, release all Kashmiri leaders detained on trumped-up charges, and lift the inhumane military siege of IIOJK. We also call upon the international community including international human rights organizations, and particularly the United Nations and its human rights machinery, to take cognizance of the dire humanitarian situation in IIOJK, to hold India accountable for its shameless violations of international law and norms, and to play their role in ensuring a just resolution of the Jammu and Kashmir dispute in accordance with the relevant resolutions of the Security Council and the wishes of the Kashmiri people. With this, I conclude, and I am ready to take your questions.